Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Things are getting very serious right now, and now it is an absolute necessity. Trump is now talking with all the Canadian people. There's a lot of support of floating around the desire to control Canada, but not only Canada, Panama Canal and Greenland. Guys, this is Fox News. This is the big deal. This is the big stuff of Trump is not playing around. He is saying that we need Canada, we need the Panama Canal, we need Greenland, and now he is now given a huge offering of not only business taxes, but also of security and additional benefits to Canadians if they become a part of the United States as the 51st state of the United States. There's a lot of support, not only coming from a lot of Canadians that are now voicing their support over X, but there's a lot of support coming from the government officials that say they would love to join the United States. They would love to be a part of the greatest country in the world. And with Trump saying it is an absolute necessity, this would ensure America remain the number one superpower in the world, as well as secure our freedom when it comes to other countries being able to come invade us from the north. Also remember that through the north, that is where half of the illegal immigrants came in, and to secure that border would be very substantial in securing the safety of Americans and making sure we have control. Also, Trump is now vowing to go after all the tech media companies. He said the news networks, the government agencies, the Google executives, everyone that interfered in the 2020 election, he pledges to prosecute them. He said, we are going to bring the truth forward, and we're going to make sure that everybody understands and knows what happened with the Hunter Biden laptop, as well as the COVID pandemic conspiracies that actually came out to be true. There is an internal fight now with the Republicans, the rhinos, in a sense, and Musk. Everyone is now looking at it through that the Republicans, a lot of them have sided with the Democrats. And a lot of them did vote to want to bring Mike Johnson back as speaker. But Trump has already voiced that he doesn't want Mike Johnson to come back. He wants to replace him with somebody that is more pro-MAGA. And also, remember that Mike Johnson did a backhanded deal with the Democrats, didn't consult with Trump, and Trump said he felt blindsided by Mike Johnson in the last CR bill. If Musk didn't expose this, we would have gotten a bill with a lot of government waste, a lot of government fat, and still, Mike Johnson was not able to deliver Trump and his increased debt ceiling. On top of this, more blue cities and blue states are creating more laws to protect illegal immigrants, with some coining them as the illegal immigration toolkit. They're calling this super sanctuary toolkit. There's lots of names going around to what they are doing as setting aside taxpayer funds to give them housing, healthcare costs, and most importantly, legal costs. Homan says, this is the border czar, that the blue cities are going to be the first to go, with Chicago mass deportation starting on day one. So now that we know that it is an absolute necessity that Trump says Canada become the 51st state, we are going to see a lot of deals about to happen, and what you're about to see next, you're going to love if you want to expand the United States footprint. I want to say thank you to everybody that is watching, to all of our subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and we're going to deliver you the top news every single day. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. Y'all are the best. We couldn't do this without you. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Y'all are amazing, and I'm so grateful to serve you every single day. Just like Denise Clark. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, appreciate you and your generosity, Joel. You're helping so many. God bless you. God bless you, Denise. Y'all show Denise some love in the chat. Guys, this is big news. I want to show you one more time. This is from Fox News that Trump is saying it is an absolute necessity that we gain control of Canada, the Panama Canal, and Greenland. Now here's the news that you can see it, guys. This is becoming very real.
This quote, "Merry Christmas to all, including the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal. Of course, Panama denies that. Regardless, Trump has been laser focused on getting back the key waterway that the United States built before Jimmy Carter gave it away. Watch.
We're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure, he just said take it back. That's a good idea. The fees being charged by Panama are ridiculous, highly unfair, especially knowing the extraordinary generosity that has been bestowed to Panama, I say very foolishly, by the United States.
Ooh.
This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop. It's going to stop.
Yeah, and he wasn't done yet. Trump was also trolling Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, offering our neighbors to the north a 60% tax cut if they agree to join the U.S. and become the 51st state. He's even urging hockey legend Wayne Gretzky to run for, quote, Governor of Canada and unseat Justin Trudeau. And to wrap up his Art of the Deal holiday message, the president-elect made a sales pitch to the people of Greenland, which need the U.S. for national security purposes and who want the U.S. to be there. And he says, and we will. Friends, that is a pretty strategic push towards an area that will. Russia is hostile right now. Greenland makes sense. I don't know that we can buy it, but what do you think?
Well, Russia and China have been working together in the Arctic.
Yeah.
They're trying to pursue resources there. China calls itself a near-Arctic country, which is baloney. They're not an Arctic country, but they're trying to weasel their way in so they can extort minerals and land and waterways that becomes available to them. So that is a Greenland play for sure. The other thing about the Panama Canal, and everyone's saying, oh, it's crazy that Trump would want to retake the Panama Canal. Well, we actually have a treaty with Panama. It's a neutrality treaty about the canal when we handed over management in the 90s to the Panamanian government. And it says that the United States reserves the military right to go back in and take control of the canal if they don't uphold the neutrality clause of the way people can use it, making sure there aren't discriminatory fees, as Trump has talked about, that people are being charged too much. And if you look at the way that China is operating in the canal as part of their Belt and Road Initiative all over the world, they are owners of ports, they are owners of companies that are building in the canal, and they're not just using it to make sure that their goods are shipped through. Of course, China uses these things for spying and other espionage. So these are national security plays, and in Trump fashion, they're pretty funny too when you read what he says.
Tom, you know, growing up when I heard about the Panama Canal, I always wondered like where in the Redneck Riviera it's set, because I only ever knew about Panama City, Florida.
Yeah.
You know, and that does feel like a foreign country sometimes, and it's a place that a lot of things are trafficked through. But you know, Katie makes a good point. She talks about this treaty and the technicality of it. That's not Trump's forte. That's not how he communicates. Does he miss when he brings stuff up like this and doesn't add that in, which you have to believe is influencing his commentary?
It's show business. This is the Trump-splaining. People often go to policy, but it's showbiz. I'm in showbiz, breaking into show business. You had to send out your headshots. You had to go for things that were impossible. I would try to get, you know, in movies, I would go to the open calls for Broadway. Were they going to cast Little Tom Shalhoub on Broadway? No, but you've got to shoot big to get any kind of thing. I remember going to a casting director. I wanted to get cast in Batman Forever. Can I get a role in Batman Forever? And the casting director, what are you kidding me? But they ended up calling me, and they gave me a job as Jim Carrey's body double.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and I zipped up that suit, the Joker suit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Too skinny for the Joker suit. They sent me home the same day. But I got in the trailer. Okay, so this is what you do in showbiz. When he's doing these things, Greenland, Canada, the Panama Canal, he's pitching. This is what you do when you pitch.
Yeah.
That's your Hollywood pitch. And then maybe you get to be the body double, but you get something out of the deal.
Guys, and this is the biggest part too that we're heading into, is that Trump is not going to back down from anything that he is asking for. He said it is an absolute necessity that we gain control of Canada, the Panama Canal, and Greenland. There is already Canadians that are begging for Trump to take over after he said he'd slash taxes by 60% if the country becomes the 51st state. Not only that, guys, let me tell you this. Trump is not holding back from anybody right now. Check this out. Trump has pledged to prosecute all individuals accused of involvement in the alleged theft of the 2020 election, including Google executives. Guys, this is big, big, big news. Thank you so much, Ty Matt Chong, for the super chat. He said, hello, Joel. Thanks again for your truth news. I missed the live on donations, but I saw the recording version. Again, thanks for the donation at church. Let's go. Y'all show Ty Matt some love in the chat. Yes, we did our biggest giveaway. Go check out that video on the channel under the giveaway playlist. Biggest giveaway to a charity in the past couple of days ever, and it's all because of you. So with that, remember, the media is trying to create a wedge between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Trump and Elon Musk say they will not let legacy media drive a wedge between them. Why? Because they're coming out and saying that Musk is the president. Donald Trump is a puppet to Musk. That's not happening. Right now, Musk and Donald Trump are creating the biggest change among politicians ever before. Why? Because they are both, think about this, they are both anti-establishment and they push and are disruptors. But when coming back to Trump saying we've got to bring on Canada as the 51st state, listen to a Canadian, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Check this out.
There's 41 million Canadians, basically the population of California, sitting on the world's largest amounts of all resources, including the most important, energy and water. Canadians over the holidays, the last 2 days, have been talking about this. They want to hear more. And so, you know, there's obviously a lot of issues, more details, but what this could be is the beginning of an economic union. Think about the power of combining the two economies, erasing the border between Canada and the United States, and putting all that resource up to the northern borders where China and Russia are knocking on the door. So secure that, give a common currency, figure out taxes across the board, get everything trading both ways, create a new, almost EU-like passport. I like this idea, and at least half of Canadians are interested. The problem is the government's collapsing in Canada right now. Nobody wants Trudeau to negotiate this deal. I don't want him doing it for me, so I'm going to go to Mar-a-Lago. I'll start the narrative. The 41 million Canadians, I think most of them would trust me on this deal.
Guys, y'all hear this, guys? That Kevin O'Leary is literally now going to Mar-a-Lago to help negotiate, trying to bring on Canada as a 51st state, trying to bring over and create a unified country between the two. Guys, this is getting really, really real. Not only that, check this out. We're getting more info on the day one agenda for Trump. Guys, I love bringing this news because it's breaking news. Check this out.
Is to play sports at the collegiate levels.
Yeah, so the economy, of course, was the top issue for voters in November, but the left is downplaying Trump's economic agenda. Watch.
Economists are saying, look, he's being handed an economy that is in good shape. Trump is looking at, tariffs.
I think the best thing Trump could do for the economy is just basically nothing at all. Be the hype man that this U.S. economy needs, because as I said, it has a lot going for it, even if consumers aren't yet recognizing it.
So, Congressman, two things. Nothing is needed for our economy. I mean, that seems ridiculous. But also, the Trump tax cuts are going to expire this year. So what is Congress's plan to keep those in place? Because if they do, most Americans are getting a tax hike. Russia.
Well, Chairman Jason Smith, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, has talked about either a 1 or 2 bill solution, which would allow us to extend the tax credits and also the reforms. This would keep our small businesses at that 20-21% level, as opposed to 40+%, which is what the Democrats were wanting, which would cripple small businesses and actually lead to more economic decline. Look, Biden inflation is the worst that we have ever seen. The cost of goods, cost of heat and cooling our homes, the actual housing affordability as a whole has completely gone. The American dream has been collapsed under this administration. That's why with Trump coming in, eliminating some of the burdens of regulations, guaranteeing our energy sector can thrive like never before by guaranteeing drill permits and being able to do fracking and things like that to make sure that we are the leader in oil and gas and energy export is the key thing to helping the economics of this country.
So what is the plan for Congress to help bolster the president's agenda, given how much pushback he's going to get from the deep state, from the left in the media, and also from Democrats on Capitol Hill? And do you foresee Democrats actually trying to work with him on maybe a number of these issues?
I think on some of the issues that make sense for the American people, there's no reason the Democrats shouldn't work. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that we unify as a Republican body and that we're able to make sure the president's agenda is successful. We need to also make sure that we can forecast the various quagmires and landmines that we're going to be able to foretell so that we can prepare the president and prepare other ways to be able to do things.
All right, we're 25 days out from inauguration. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Guys, I'm telling you, this is big, big, big news. Because not only are we seeing that, there's a lot of changes coming through just across, even on the Russian side, the Doge side, the debt ceiling side. We are seeing now all this evidence being exposed. Like, this is one crazy thing, guys. Look at this. This just broke today. A former senior FBI scientist, Jason Bannon, says the FBI was prevented from briefing President Biden on evidence supporting the lab leak theory for the origin of COVID-19. All these things are coming out. And even on CNN, we always got to give a shout out to our boy Scott Jennings on CNN, because what we're seeing now is that all the evidence is so undeniable, nobody can refute the facts. Check this out.
Over the Panama Canal.
Well, I tell you what is very serious, and that is pushing back on the encroachment of Chinese influence in the Western Hemisphere. Yes, I do.
You think this does that?
I think Donald Trump is trying to send a message to the Chinese, and he's also trying to send a message to everyone else in the hemisphere that I'm not going to put up with this encroachment. Now, what is true is that China is having encroachment in this hemisphere, in Africa, all over the world. They are trying to act like the world's leading superpower. They are trying to exert their values and their way of life all over the world. That used to be our job. And I think what Donald Trump is saying here is, I don't want this in my backyard. America is the world's superpower.
Yes.
More America is better. And I'm sending a message that I'm not going to put up with this sort of creeping Chinese influence in my own backyard.
Help me with this thinking though, really quick. And Karen, I'll bring you in a second. But if it angers Panama, if it hurts relations with Panama, the calculation is it won't and it doesn't matter?
Do I care if Panama is angry? What is Van Halen going to come and be upset about it? I mean, honestly, I need them to understand, and Donald Trump needs them to understand that we are the dominant superpower in this hemisphere, and he needs to have a conversation with them about that, and I hope that he does. And yes, they are an ally, but this is a vital thing, this Panama Canal, but I'm just telling you, the encroachment of Chinese influence around the world must be stopped, and if Donald Trump's getting serious about that, that's a good thing.
Karen,
guys, like I told you,
Canal.
Well,
like I told you, everybody, the seriousness of what Trump means when it comes to it becoming an absolute necessity that Trump says we've got to gain control of Canada, Panama Canal, Greenland. We've never had a president that speaks so boldly like this. But this is the point where everybody is looking at what is the economic outcome going to be? Are we going to be able to continue growing, to be able to afford a lot of these big things? What I love is what you're about to see next, because everybody can feel it coming, because Musk and Trump and everybody that's on the dream team is going to make it happen. Listen to this.
Elon Musk is coming to town, not with a sleigh, but with a budget axe and maybe in a Tesla or a rocket ship. He's got big plans to slash the fat from the bloated federal budget. Steve Moore was an economic advisor to President Trump during his first term, and he joins us now. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Merry Christmas.
Good morning. Merry Christmas to you.
Let's take a look, according to Fox Business, what DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, is planning on doing, simplifying the tax code. This is just a few of the items: modernizing and finding cost-effective government IT systems, cutting fraud losses. A lot of this is billed as Elon Musk is going to move fast and break things. But, Steve, has Elon Musk ever been acquainted with the United States Senate?
Well, that's a great point. By the way, I don't even like the term break things. I think he's going to fix things. I think we have so much, hundreds of billions of dollars of waste in the federal budget today. I mean, everyone watches shows knows that, it would be a layup to just get rid of a lot of these programs that, by the way, we got programs that go back to World War I. We don't even know what these programs do. There's so much inefficiency, duplications. Why do we have to have 6 68 different job training programs in Washington. And so I think people are very upbeat about this, but you raise a great point. How do you get this through Congress? Because Congress loves to play Santa Claus 365 days of the year, passing out the goodies. And so that is going to be the real challenge. Not identifying the waste, because we all know it's there. It's forcing Congress to act to save the money.
A lot of it is publicly shaming. You saw Senator Rand Paul's report from a couple of days ago. That's part of this all, too. It all ties into the whole Doge effect. Do you think it's going to have an effect, though? Because, one congressman's form of waste is another congressman's contract that he's bringing back home to the district.
Well, let me just give you one example. I mean, just a little simple example. Rand Paul, the senator, found $1 billion, $1 billion, not 1 million, $1 billion we're spending per year paying rent on empty office buildings. Does that make any sense? I mean, now multiply that by 1,000 times. And I think that what you're going to do is see a kind of public revolt against the excessive spending in Congress. I think there's going to be so much pressure on them that I think that you're going to see real change this year. I think we're going to, for the first time, we're actually going to cut the budget. I don't think that's happened since Bill Clinton was president.
Yeah.
There are major corporations that are spending serious money on President Trump's second inauguration here. Do you sense that there is a different tide moving through corporate America here, where perhaps businesses aren't as concerned about revolting from their more liberal staff members and employees as they were 8 years ago? And what does this say about businesses just trying to get in good with the new administration?
It's a very good point. When I was working with Donald Trump 8 years ago, when he became president, almost all corporate America was against Trump. And now look at what's happening. You've got people like Elon Musk. You've got people like, the heads of Amazon and the heads of even Zuckerberg, who spent a lot of money on Democrats, saying, hey, we can work with this guy to make the economy better. This is a definite shift in the mentality of corporate America. They realize something big is happening where the country is sick of the wokeness. They're sick of the ESG, DEI. They just want America to act fairly, and they want a prosperous economy. Let's not forget, for the last 4 years, the middle class lost income, when you adjust for inflation. So people want prosperity. And I'm here to tell you on Christmas morning, we're going to see the biggest boom starting on January 20th. I mean, you just feel it coming. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at Americans around the country. They're optimistic. They're confident. They're feeling very positive about the future. Even Democrats feel good about the way things are going to go.
All right. Steve Moore, former economic.
Guys, like I said, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are donating right now. A lot of big companies are donating to Trump's inauguration, millions of dollars. Facebook, Amazon, GM, a ton of them. Why? Because of this report right here. Trump has pledged to prosecute all individuals accused of involvement in the alleged theft of the 2020 election, including Google executives. Trump said, I am coming for everybody. Remember, they suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story. Even Twitter at the time suppressed everything. They kicked Trump off of Twitter. They kicked Trump off of Facebook, off of Instagram. No, really, the reason being is because Trump is ready to make the biggest moves ever. Right now, this is a map of the historical U.S. debt outstanding. You can see that from the 1920 all the way to 2020, how much it has gone up. And guys, the number on the left is in trillions. So in order for Trump to be able to make the necessary payments and do everything he needs to do for Canada, Greenland, and the Panama Canal, it's going to cost us not billions, trillions of dollars. That's why they're so adamant about cutting spending. And what we even have next is that there's been more light shed on the waste that we've seen with government spending. If you're not sitting down, please sit down. This will make you sick. This is your taxpayer dollars that is being wasted like never before. Check this out.
$1 million every hour, $4.5 million every minute. That comes out to us borrowing $74,401 every second, which is almost the median income of Americans every second. And Doge, let's just say, you have a target-rich environment this year.
What about the support though for the charging network? I mean, there are parts of this bill and no.
No, I mean, do we need support for gas stations? We don't. So there's no need for this for support for a charging network. I would delete it. Delete.
Save the money.
That's going to be the word of 2025. I mean, but just some other examples that we need to delete. Just this past year, Rand Paul's office found over $1 trillion worth of waste. Okay. 1/5 of the money the government takes in was just wasted. Before we can even talk about waste, we got to talk about the fact that this year alone, America will pay almost $1 trillion in interest on the money we already borrowed on the $36 trillion of national debt. This alone is the greatest case to not give a penny in foreign aid to any other country until we can afford things we have here in America that we need to spend money on. I don't know, like North Carolina disaster relief. But just for perspective, Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, super successful, that has outperformed the market over the last 3 decades. That company's total value would basically only pay the interest of America's debt for 1 year if you confiscated all of its assets. Some of the easiest cuts right out the gate are the billions that really just pop up on the radar, honestly. The first one, of course, is out of the Defense Department, where the U.S. Navy, my people, okay, they spent $90 billion on vessels that don't work, some of them don't float, can't dock, and don't do what they're supposed to do. $90 billion. These ships had cracks in their hulls, the transmissions were grinding their own gears to pieces, and if the crew went to fix it, too bad. The manuals were all written in the wrong language. Yes, the U.S. Navy had their owner's manual from a third-party contractor written in not English. I mean, great job. Anchors away, right? Imagine paying for a Hatteras boat, waiting, I don't know what they waited, like 8 or 10 years to get it. And then when it gets to you, you want to go on a fishing trip somewhere, and it's been never tested, plagued with problems. You would sue that company and get your money back. But no, not the U.S. Navy. They just threw up their arms and ordered more boats. Let's see if those boats actually work this time around. And it gets even worse. We are still falling behind the world's production for 25 years. I mean, think about that, despite spending more money than ever before. Check this out, though. We also spent $10 million to maintain, lease, and furnish almost entirely empty buildings. And we've talked about this before, but when I say entirely, I literally mean that there are more people maintaining the building than actually working in it.
Wow.
Think about that. Here's another one. The Department of Energy, the DOE, spent $15.5 billion to push America to electric cars. This is totally in addition to like other money for subsidies, credits, and the worthless charging stations that came at like, I don't know, like $1 billion per one. This is its own standalone like PR campaign. I'm sure none of that money made it into a special interest person's pocket, right? But the smaller payments that they hoped would get not picked up by the media, sorry, Swamp, we noticed. Here's a few that I said, wow, gee, we should probably sue these people and get our money back. This was hilarious. Well, if it wasn't my money, it would be hilarious. $108,000 to renovate a Caribbean hotel. I mean, that's bad enough, but not as bad as this. That bid for repairs was actually done in 2011. And only this year, the funds were allocated.
Wow.
But here's the catch. The hotel shut down over a decade ago due to disrepair, and now that bathhouse that was supposed to be repaired is flooded and has vines growing all up in it. But that money was still spent to someone.
Corruption.
$419,000 by HHS to determine if lonely rats will seek out cocaine more than happy rats. Why are our tax dollars buying cocaine for rats? I mean, they should have just repurposed the stuff they found in the White House, since they aren't confiscating any of it at the southern border these days. The State Department, these guys, they spent $4.8 million on influencers in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, guys.
While the State Department was on that roll, they spent almost $900,000 to produce movies in Jordan. State also spent an even $500K on a hashtag campaign, which was hashtag US Invest in Ethiopia. How the hell do you spend $500,000 on a hashtag campaign? But they figured it out. Let's look, less than...
Guys, let me tell you this. If you are naive to think that the government is not as corrupt as it is, that where they take taxpayer money and there's no accountability whatsoever, then you need to really sit down and think your life choices. We are at the point now, we're at a breaking point in America where now we literally have to go after everybody. This debt is real. The United States debt is the only thing. We have so much debt that's tied to everybody. It causes inflation. It causes more higher prices, higher taxes. And it's going to take the right people to come in here and clean house. And it really bothers me because right now we get taxed whenever we get paid. We pay taxes on the things we buy. We pay taxes for our houses and for our cars. And then we get taxed every year on those things. And it's not the swamp is not going to stop it. It's going to take real Americans that are willing to fight this, to bring it down, to cut all the stupid spending, you just heard it, and to help get America back on track, because I'm a fan of gaining the Panama Canal. I'm a fan of gaining Canada and Greenland, but it's going to take trillions of dollars in order for us to do this. And Trump said that's why we need to cut spending very much. In order to purchase these big 3 land pieces and get back to where they're under our control, we're going to have to spend money. But we can't spend money that we already don't have because we're already $36 trillion in debt. This is an absolute necessity, Trump says, to gain these 3. I'm excited about it. I would love to see it happen. And I think that in some part, we may gain 2 out of these 3 in the next 4 years. That's just what I feel. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. It's free. And thank you and if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really, oh wait, hey, we got some fireworks. Wait, right there. Just 1 thumbs up will give the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. Thank you to all of our members. If you want to be a member of the channel, the link is in the description to join. We are so thankful for you. For all the people, Denise Clark, Custom Art, thank you so much. Ty Matt Chong for the super chats. Y'all show them some love in the chat, and y'all show our members some love in the chat. Y'all are everything, guys. Y'all are the channel. We got a new logo coming out next week. We got merchandise coming out in the next couple of months. It's going to be true life, true American. We are going to make sure that America stays the best, and we continue the America First agenda right there. That flag is for all of us. No matter if you're Democrat or Republican, you're an American first. I love you all. Appreciate you so much. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.